Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. No, I don't know why I keep saying it in silly ways. I hear you saved her from ruffians once before as well. But those people were actually school security, weren't they? But you didn't know that at the time, did you? Well, no. Well, you appear to be of quite a pure heart. In the Sermon on the Mount it says that such people will see God. Were those words from the Bible or something? I wasn't familiar with it. Could I ask about what you said before? Am I really the only man here? Yes. Amazing. The rumours I'd heard about the all-girls paradise were true then. And here I was, the sole man among them. What's going to happen to me? I was halfway between excitement and anxiousness. There may be some inconveniences along the way, but I hope you'll bear with them, and I am so sorry. No, I understand. Then we shall proceed. The chairwoman turned towards the gymnasium. The opening ceremony is about to begin. Would you mind waiting in the green room for now? Of course. I will begin by introducing you, and then you may introduce yourself. Understood. Any questions? No, none in particular. The chairwoman gave me a small nod, and I headed for the gym as requested. By the way, how much have you heard, Masaya-kun, about what's going to happen, and your own role in it? Actually, I haven't heard that much at all. I had to admit it was pretty lax of me. I know that in a year there'll be a vote to decide if the school will go co-ed or if it'll stay as a girls' school. I see. This seemed to disappoint her somehow. Perhaps it was hard for her to say it. What? Oh, that's right. My granddaughter told me something about you losing a winning lottery ticket. Ah. But I'm sorry, 100 million yen is a bit much for me to provide. No, not at all. Rise-san keeps acting like it's a fault or something, but she really didn't do anything wrong. So really, don't worry about it. Tell Rise-san not to worry about it either. Well, it hardly makes up for it, but I will do everything I can to make your school life comfortable. Yes, thank you very much. I could hear her voice from the green room. The opening ceremony went on in the typical fashion, until my introduction came up. Now, it happens that there is something I must announce to you all. As some of you are already aware, beginning this April, a special transfer student will be joining Vinnescence. This special transfer student is a boy. Throughout the ceremony, the student body had been politely silent, but now it was alive with whispers. The chairwoman waited for the whispers to die down before speaking again. There has been a matter of some debate for several years among the Venice's board of directors. The matter regards Venice's becoming a co-educational school. Those for and opposed are locked into their opinions, and I have determined that the board cannot reach a decision. I believe you will recall our decision to leave the matter up to the students. However, it was obvious that such a decision could not be made on the spur of the moment. As you all know, Venice's student body is all female, and I believe many of you will never have interacted with a boy of your own age. So it was decided to first integrate a single male student. By interacting with one young man, you would be better informed by the time of the vote. I believe you will all recall that decision as well. However, the school has eschewed the use of the normal formal applications, as we believed it was too easy to see which way that would go. In exchange, I requested a student play the role of scout, and the one who volunteered was my own granddaughter, Rise. Many have thought that this plan had ended in failure. This is because Rise was unable to find a suitable entrant in the time period allotted to her. The boy that we have accepted into the school was discovered over spring vacation. This was a clear violation of school rules. However, I have decided to allow it using my authority as chairwoman. So that's what happened. So the chairwoman was on the side of reform. That was reassuring. I would find it extremely regrettable to deny him and quash the entire project due to the technicality of time. In addition, this particular boy seems to be a very fine character, although that is simply conjecture on my part. Now, allow me to introduce the young man who will join our family beginning today. Okanagi Masaya-kun. What?! Well, that sounded like a scream. I could understand screams about the idea of a boy joining the school, but that last one... Was it just a reaction to my name? Him? Now, let's have a quick introduction. Masaya-kun, come this way, please. I left the green room and walked awkwardly to the chairwoman's side. And she turned the microphone towards me, and I spoke. Nice to meet you. My name is Okanagi Masaya. I was so nervous that I could barely recognize the sound of my own voice through the speakers. I understand that this is an experiment, but I'm looking forward to studying with you all for a year. Regarding that... The chairwoman spoke up, her voice hesitant and her eyes shifting away. Excuse me. She changed places with me, then spoke to the microphone again. As I believe you all know, we will be holding a premiere judgment at the end of the first term. From a what? The point at issue will be whether or not the special transfer student will be permitted to stay. What? I stared at her in disbelief. If his presence is rejected, then I'm afraid Masaya-kun will have to be expelled. If this occurs, we will be able to select a new male student to arrive in his place. Seriously? Even a year had seemed too short, and now... If he is accepted, then he will continue until the grand vote held at the end of the third term. Either way, it will come down to your decision, and so, I encourage you to interact with the transfer student as much as you can. And that goes for you as well, Masaya-kun. Please don't be shy. Make yourself a lot of girlfriends. Right. Would the officers of the White Lily and Red Rose Societies please report to my office after school? That is all. As we both turned to exit the stage, the chairwoman leaned over and whispered in my ear. Don't worry, all we need is majority support by the time the first term ends. Right. Majority support? I took a quick look around the gym, and the vibe from the girls assembled there was definitely not a friendly one. Oh, I certainly wasn't making any girlfriends there. I'd just joined the school and I was already facing expulsion. Okay then, forward. Sister Mishima showed me to my classroom. Wow, the school buildings look so new. I was expecting something older from a traditional school. Oh, we recently had it renovated. There were problems in its earthquake readiness. Oh, I see. Genesis has changed a great deal, although some of the old buildings remain. The cathedral, for instance. With the opening ceremony over, the students were heading towards the school building. And I was now surrounded by girls, and I felt painfully conspicuous. When I attended, the walls had the weight of age to them, although the new ones are nice too. You were a student here too, sister? Yes. It's not unusual for Venice's staff to be alumni. In fact, 90% of the staff here are former students. It's not unusual for 3 or 4 generations of a family to have passed through these halls. Naturally, friendships made here endure as well. We're a community that transcends the relationships of school. That's really amazing. This is the box for your shoes, Masaya-kun. There were slippers of my size inside. Your textbooks should already be in the classroom, and I'll be your homeroom teacher as well. We'll be seeing a lot of each other. Oh, right. Sister Mishima was my homeroom teacher. That was good. What? As I walked down the halls, I noticed something strange. What's that classroom with no one inside? Oh, that's an unused classroom. Unused classroom? That's strange. Well, prior to the rebuild, Venice's has 6 classes, but we've since been getting fewer and fewer students. Oh, yeah, Rice-san mentioned something like that. Just before the rebuild, we had 4 classes. It seemed natural to change the building to reflect that, but they didn't do that. Well, there was a great deal of debate amongst the board, after all. The reformists and the traditionalists, I'll bet. Protect the old ways. There were clearly certain people who were passionate about that. Small communities do have a unique atmosphere. To change the building would be a significant change, don't you think? Sister, were you on the reform side? I find myself asking without thinking. It's the students of the present who will determine our future. Here we are. Fitting in today, you'll be in class 2C, Miss Aircoon. Well, let's go inside. Right. I opened the door, and every face turned to me. Oh my, he's in our class? You've got to be kidding me. I wonder where he's going to sit. It goes without saying that the class was all girls, but, well, the sight was still new to me. Ah, it's Rice-san. So we were in the same class. That was a relief. In a class like this, well, I was going to be lucky if I wasn't driven out. Not much chance of making friends. Sister Mishima walked to the lectern and I followed after her. Everyone, I want you to take your seats. It doesn't matter where. I heard the rattling of chairs and then the classroom descended into silence. My kind of respect for authority was completely new to me too. In my old school, the chatter would have kept up for far longer. I believe you all saw it at the opening ceremony, but you have a new classmate, so why don't you introduce yourself again? Sister Mishima handed me the chalk, and I wrote my name on the board and gave a stiff bow. Onokagi Masaya. Masaya. It's nice to meet you all. The classroom remained silent. There wasn't even a single nice to meet you too. Now, where shall we put you? Venice does seating by attendance number, but... Sister? Rice-san stood up immediately. Even in the classroom of girls, she stood apart from the rest. I believe it might be best to be sat beside me. I brought him here, after all. That is true. Well then, everyone, please change your seats to reflect attendance number now. At her words, the students moved without hesitation to their seats. They knew where to go, even without labels. Everyone in Venice knows each other's name, and they face on sight. They live together in the dorms, too. They're a true family. The chairwoman used that word too. What does it mean? It's the French word for family. So it is familial. Gotcha. Family. I like the sound of it. The word was appealing to someone like me who, well, lived without a family for so long. But why do you write it in Roman letters? I've seen them mixed in from time to time. Well, I suppose it's because the school was established by French missionaries. You may find the students' titles unusual as well. Titles? Oh, it's a bit like nicknames. Before she could say any more, the students finished taking their seats. Now, Miss Aircoon, take these and head to your seat. Yes. I took the pile of textbooks from the lectern and walked to the desk beside Rice-san. We exchanged a few pleasantries, but I noticed that she wouldn't meet my eyes. I wonder why. From there, morning homeroom began. It went about the same as at my old school. Then homeroom ended and Sister Mishima left. There were a few minutes before first period started, and, well, normally the class would be alive with chatter, but at the moment it was totally silent. Is Venice always like this? I looked around the classroom. As I looked around, any girl that I looked at quickly averted her eyes. Nope. This was unusual. Masaya-san? What is it? Finally, someone met my eyes, and it was almost a relief. I'm sorry. What? Rice bowed her head low to me. Oh, for heaven's sake. He's making Rice-san grovel to him. How dare he treat us Solari de Co... Are you kidding me? How dare he treat us Solid de Cole? I'm gonna go with Solid de Cole that way. Just what is that man trying to do? What? Did I do something wrong? The reactions aside, I was starting to panic. Wait a minute, Rice-san, what's going on? Look at me. I appear to have lied about one small thing. What? About what? She finally looked up at me. About the period of a stay. There really will be a vote at the end of the first term, but I only told you about the one at the end of the year vote. Ah. I was afraid he'd refuse. The conditions are so strict after all. I was pretty sure I wouldn't have refused, no matter the conditions. All I'd wanted was to see her again. That's why I deceived you. There's no excuse for what I've done. But if you'll let me make it up to you... It's alright, I'm not offended. I don't really care about it anyway, besides. And in the end, if I'm not accepted after a year, I couldn't stay anyway, right? Even so... Sooner or later, it doesn't make a difference. But it's true that it takes time to build relationships. Even Mayuga-sama. Who? Miyugi? The advisor to the board. She's the former chairwoman and stubbornly... I'll tell you more about that at lunchtime. Right. Masaya-san, can you forgive me for deceiving you? Of course. I'm so glad. The bell rang and the teacher entered. And naturally, the teacher was a woman. Class proceeded solemnly. The only sounds were the scratching of chalk on the board and the pages turning in textbooks, and the scratching of pens in notebooks and curt answers to the instructor's questions. They're so serious. But I guess that's a charm school for you. I couldn't help but admire them, but at the same time I had concern. I was afraid that those illusions that boys tend to have about girls would get shattered. I had a friend whose sister went to an all-girls school, and he told me of the harsh reality of life there. They're basically old men. From what my friend had said, they don't mind farting. It was probably just a minority, but he said many just let their personality grooming slip. Some didn't even care if their panties were showing them. Well, I guess that goes without saying anyway. In addition, the classrooms have a distinctive odour. Sweat mixed together with makeup and food. For some reason they really like poop jokes. I was a full-blooded man, and I did have certain illusions about girls. There was a part of me that was afraid of cracks forming in those illusions, but... well, that wasn't true at all. No one's panties were showing. The room had a pretty nice smell to it. As far as I could tell, they were all polished young ladies. Oh, I guess Venice is a cut above, in more respects than one. Say-san. If you find anything you don't understand, please don't hesitate to ask me. Thanks. How was class? Did everything make sense? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can keep up. I see. I'm glad to hear that. I know the change in schools can be difficult in that regard. I did see religious theory on the schedule. I've never had that class before. You should be fine as long as you have basic morals. Though there are some aspects particular to missionary teachings. My, Rice-san is just speaking to that boy. She really is progressive, isn't she? I glanced over at the source of the whispers, and Rice-san seemed to hear them as well, but she just shrugged. It's to be expected from your first day, after all. They'll get used to you, though. Right. But while the reaction to me was natural, they all seemed to be giving Rice-san a wide berth. What is it? Masaya-san? No, I just had this feeling like I was being watched. I took a look out the door, but there was no one in the hallway except the people walking past. It does seem possible. For better or worse, you're a person of interest now. Yeah, right. I suppose that's true, but still. Don't let it bother you. Rice-san seemed to think it was just anxiety, so she reassured me and left the room. And isn't that that? Good lord, I can hear a lot... If you can hear a vague background hum, you probably can't, but somebody outside appears to be mowing their lawn, in spite of the fact it's pissing it down outside. That's got to be a sort of council grass cutter or something like that, because nobody would be mad enough to actually do it themselves. It was hard to explain, but there had been a certain intensity in that gaze. Like their eyes were looking right through me. I didn't expect someone to have a personal grudge against me on my first day here. I couldn't just be someone with a crush, that'd be too convenient. That's why someone who really hates men. As the recess began, followed by the second period, the class suddenly broke out into whispers. The entire class turned towards the door as a group of students entered. It's Grand Fleur! What could Latour Saw possibly want with us? Onakagi Masakun, may I request a moment of your time? Of course. Wow, she's gorgeous. The girl who could give Rice-san a run for her money stood at the head of the group with a leaderly air. My name is Miyokani Marika. I have come to bid you hello, Masakun. Thank you. Latour Saw came especially to see him. I can't believe it. It's preposterous. He should have gone to her. No, he can't be allowed to visit Marika-sama. Well, what should I have done then? Miyugi. What of it? Oh, nothing. The name was familiar, but I couldn't remember where I'd heard it. Latutasao, is that your nickname, Miyugi-san? Nickname? Ah, the girl at the back of the crowd stepped forward and glared at me sharply. Did you just say nickname? Ugh, how rude. The term is title. Right. Mitsuki-san, Masaya-san has only attended this school for 1 day. It is natural that he should be unfamiliar with Venus's vocabulary, don't you agree? In addition, you don't get to call her Miyugi-san. Address her as Mariki-sama. Understood? Right. That's enough, Mitsuki. But I'm afraid it doesn't seem proper to address Masaya-kun without an honorific either. Well then, Masaya-kun, it seems your first goal will be to pass the Premier judgment at the end of the first term. I wish you luck. Farewell. With that, Marika and her entourage departed the classroom. The entire class let out a sigh of relief. Is she famous or something? Yes, even before she became Latutasor, the class president, she was already renowned as Grand Fleur. Huh? I can see I'm speaking nonsense to you. I'll explain later. Please do, I feel like I'm walking through a minefield here. And why'd that girl get so mad at me? Oh, Mitsuki-san is... She's a friend of yours? The students of Venus's are all friends in a way. That's what familial means. I see. Mitsuki-san has changed so much since she became Marika-sama's chef de corps. She was never like that before. The bell rang and we took our seats. Everyone at the school was like friends and family. I didn't think she was lying, but in a school with several hundred students, some relationships would have to be stronger than others. It seemed to me that Rai-san's relationship to Mitsuki had been one of the stronger ones. It was our long-awaited lunch break, and Rai-san led me through to a dining hall. Wow, I'm hungry. You're always hungry, aren't you? I overslept this morning. I didn't even notice when the staff knocked on my door to wake me up. How are you enjoying life in the dormitory? Any problems? None at all. It's like a dream. And the school? Are you acclimatizing? Well, it's only the first day after all. I know how you feel, but you can't spend all of your time feeling ashamed. Right. I felt conspicuous even walking through the halls, but I'd probably be used to that after a few days. It was everything else that would be the challenge. I know it'll go well. I'm sure you have a long association with this school, right? Right. Oh, this place looks great. Yeah, the dining hall's a very popular place. I bet. Well, let's get lined up. First, you need to take a chip. Chip? There was a basket on a corner table, and the students were pulling out token-like discs from it. The chips represent a menu item. There'll always be 2 main dishes which change daily. So where do we pay? Payment's included in our tuition, so it's free. I see. I feel a bit guilty, I never paid tuition. Of course not, you're here on scholarship after all. I was also getting an allowance from the school, but if I wasn't spending on meals, I wasn't entirely sure where I would use it. The menu was pasted up next to the box. It looked like a Western and Japanese meal option. I guess I'll have the lasagna. I'd only had it a few times before. What about you, Rai-san? I believe I'll have the soba. We took our orders from the counter and then quickly took our seats. Let's eat, Rice was making the sign of the cross. Oh, it's just a habit. I'm not Christian, I've just been at Venice's so long. Seems like Venice's has a lot of customers of its own. Yes, that's right. I promised to tell you about that. We'll talk while we eat. I listened to Rice's explanation while the delicious food danced on my tongue. First, regarding titles. At Venice's, many of us have a second name that we're known by. They're basically like nicknames, right? Yes, although as Mitsuki-san illustrated earlier, we don't call them nicknames here. Couldn't tell you why. I see. It all seemed so complicated, but I promised to pay attention. When in Rome, as they say. In addition, only the student president's title takes the definite article la. The definite article, you mean like the in English, right? That's right. The student council's president's title is Latutasor. and this is the way it's always been. So what does that mean? Everyone's big sister. Well, I suppose that's an appropriate title for the student council president. Marika-sama's personal title, Grand Fleur, means great flower. She did have a grand sort of air to her, but she wasn't ostentatious about it. That's true, she's always been popular. Obviously, enough to be elected president. Then what was Misuki-san's? He said something like, Chef something? Chef de corps means Captain of the Guard. Captain of the Guard? I figured she was a really good cook or something. Chef. It does have that meaning as well, of course. The origin is the same. Mitsuka-san is, how to put it, one of Miruka-sama's retinue. That's where the title came from. Retinue? Miruka-san had brought a small group with her, which included Misuki-san. And she'd looked a bit like a hospital director surrounded by doctors and nurses. It sounds like you don't like it, being part of a retinue. That's true, it doesn't really suit me. Being part of someone else's retinue means you become dependent on them for ways of looking and thinking about things. I could never approve of that. Maybe that way of thinking was why Rai-san had put herself at the vanguard of school reform. Do you have a title, Rai-san? Well, yes. I'm known as the Soleil de Col. What does that mean? Son of the school. Oh, I like that. High praise, but I can see where it came from. And in Rai-san's case, it wasn't just her beauty. She'd even slipped out of school to do her scouting work, and that kind of decisiveness had probably earned her notice. Oh, please, don't look at me like that. Oh, sorry. It's not like I don't like it, but I don't like this custom that seems to rank students by worth. But I do like titles that reflect a person's personality. For instance, Rutsuko, who you met this morning. What's her title? Early Pine. Means beautiful briar rose. Yeah, that does seem to suit her. Doesn't it? Well, I think that's about it for titles. Next, I'll tell you about ordinary modes of address. There are rules about those too. That's right, Mitsuko had mentioned something about that too. In addition, you don't get to call her Mayugi-san. Address her as Marika-sama, understand? At the time, I had no idea what she was talking about. Those of a higher grade level give the suffix sama to show respect. Those of the same grade level are given the suffix san to show closeness, and those of a lower grade level are given no suffix to show affection. This is how we do things in Venice. Huh. I could see what she meant. Rai-san had followed those rules and speaking to everyone around her. Oh, well, I'm gonna try as hard as I can to do the things the Venice's way then. Though saying sama is gonna be hard to get used to. I think you'll be doing fine with the way things have been. Really? Oh, you don't want to blend in so much that you ignore the differences between men and women. Do you see what I mean? You are here to change Venice's after all. Of course you can't do everything by yourself, but well, you're the kind of man who can change the perceptions of people around you. I am. I didn't think I was that influential, but I would have to give it a try. At least if I wanted to stay here until graduation. I don't intend to turn you into the second coming of Jesus, of course, but you did come here to take up a sword and fight, and this won't be a peaceful revolution. As we spoke, someone appeared beside us at the table. Excuse me, could I get in? Oh, Tami-san. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Nogi Tami. I'm the club's new ace reporter. I'm going to be reporting on your activities for the year, or, well, however long you stay. I wanted to introduce myself. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm, Okanogi Masaya. Rice had referred to her with a san. That meant she was a second-year student. Well, let's have a quick interview. Do you mind? What? Cameron produced a microphone, a recorder, and a camera from nowhere. Then she turned the camera towards me. Wow, the camera just loves you. Come on, smile, smile. What? Oh, Tammy-san, you're making him uncomfortable. Well, we'll do the pictures later then. Wouldn't want to get stuck with a bad picture. We want you looking nice and handsome, right? We'll get the interview out of the way then, okay? Well, I think we will do this interview in the next part, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.